It is a great time to be a photographer, especially if you treat photography as a passion, not necessarily a job. Current camera and lens market lets us choose tons of gear to suit our needs and help to produce extraordinary results without breaking the bank. This variety of equipment allows photographers to shape their style almost without boundaries. One of the best things that happened to today's photography are third-party lenses. They opened a whole new world to many photography amateurs, such as myself. Yongnuo is one of those companies that are pretty much on a good way within the lens market. I was given the opportunity to test the new updated 85 1.8 DF DSM lens for Sony E-mount, and having it for a few weeks now, I'd like to share my experience with this particular lens. As a 35mm shooter, the 85 is rather uncommon focal length for me, but sometimes you gotta leave your comfort zone to discover new pleasures, right? So the Yongnuo 85 1.8 first appearance looks very nice. The lens is made of metal and glass with a modern design that resembles native Sony lenses and is pretty much the same in terms of size, like the Sony 35 1.8 FE, with being about 100 grams heavier. It has a rubber gasket on the mount, so it provides dust and moisture protection on the sensor side. However, the lens itself does not mention the weather sealing on the front side, so I'd be careful with shooting with this lens in heavy rain or very dusty environment. The lens has a focus switch and a custom button that can be programmed just like a native Sony lenses, and the built-in USB-C port is ready for the future firmware upgrades. The focus ring works smoothly and allows for quite precise focus adjustments and manual focusing. I did test this lens with my Sony A7 II to see if it can work fine with the older AF, and to my surprise it was a pretty nice and accurate. Of course, it's much slower than Sony's 85 1.8 FE and sometimes gets lost in low light situations. It's probably not the lens I would use for wedding or some sports events, but Yongnuo's 85 has something that I did miss while using Sony's 85 some time ago: the character. Yongnuo's 85 is definitely more, well, artistic than Sony, and it's what I like in Chinese lenses. They usually come inspired by vintage camera gear and optics, and that gives them that extra points in my opinion. During those few weeks I used this lens for portrait and street photography, and I must say, I'm very pleased with this glass. The subject separation and bokeh have a really nice feel, and considering the price of this lens, I am again surprised in a positive way by a Chinese manufacturer that just keeps getting better. The lens is nicely sharp, wide open, with a little dreamy look, and gets very proper and contrasty at f2.8. Personally, I did shoot this lens wide open most of the time, and I'm very happy with the results. The black and white shots I made with this lens are actually one of my favorite ones in the past few months. While street photography can be a little tricky with 85, but it has a very nice feature. This lens is less intrusive than typical 35 or 50mm, so if you are a little shy in approaching strangers, it might be a comfortable way to try street photography. I think this lens made me want to have a 95 in my arsenal among the 35, 40 and 50mm primes. So, who is this lens for? I would definitely recommend this lens for portrait and street amateurs who just love photography and can utilize less expensive gear to its limits. It can help you make some great photographs without draining your wallet. And since my channel is all about the gear I can sign under with my both hands, this is one of these products I can say yes to. Keep on shooting, my friends.